Are pharmacists with just PharmDs not clinical? Well, I wanted to make this video to address something that I feel like is happening and no one is really addressing it. That so many intelligent, doctorate level professionals feel like second class citizens treated by the job market and employers. And because so many people have gained clinical knowledge and skills, and yet when they are told by employers that they don't match the criteria for the job, it's because they don't have, quote, clinical experience. Look, I know this is going to rub some people the wrong way. I know that we have residency trained clinical pharmacists. I was one of them. And yet I also know that we have even more non-residency trained pharmacists in our profession who experience this in almost a discriminatory way where they just feel like they can't get noticed in the job market because of a lack of a residency, as if that is the thing to distinguish someone as a candidate. I remember in school, I was told that a residency is like 5 years of practice. Not 5 years of clinical practice, not 5 years of being a clinician. It's 5 years of practice shoved into 1 year. And the alternative was true, that if you had gained 5 years of experience as a pharmacist, well, then that was the equivalent of a residency. And yet what so many people feel on a day-to-day basis, that is so not true. And I'm so sick and tired of it. I'm so sick of hearing from our clients that they don't feel adequate enough to go pursue the roles that they really want to do because they look at the job descriptions, the preferences, the residency treatment, and they think to themselves, I don't have it. Now, of course, like, hear me out. Like, I'm not trying to say that the experiences that residents learn isn't valid. It's not good. I'm saying that if a pharmacist has experience, if they've treated patients, if they've educated, if they've made clinical decisions, if they've changed doses, make recommendations to a provider, are these things not clinical? Are we making this second-class citizenship distinction in our profession to make people feel bad about the fact that they didn't sacrifice a year of their life to learn these skills? And so many people have made the decision that there's no way that they can go back from making, 130 to 45K a year just to gain experience, to get a job opening for a role that has just as much burnout and stress as everything else. Yes, it's true. Clinical pharmacists burn out the same rate, if not the higher in some circumstances, than a retail chain pharmacist. I want to call to attention this distinction because I don't think it's right. And, I won't pretend like I have all the answers. I don't know what the real solution is here. I could have picture for you. Well, let's actually all agree on that the degree that we all get now when we graduated and have done so for the last 25 years practically is a doctorate level degree. And this in turn helps us practice pharmacy. What was the point of going from bachelor's to doctorate if not to gain new skills, practicum skills, right? We paid for it. We learned it. It should qualify us. But I also have to speak to the pharmacists that may be nodding their head in agreement with everything I've shared. Don't believe for a second that you don't have valuable experience. I think what you may be experiencing in the job market is how you're communicating it to employers. Because if you just write something boring like verified scripts, approved orders, did clinical interventions, they're not going to believe you. You have to communicate the kind of clinical decision-making recommendations that you have done over your experience to communicate that value. It is on you to do your best job to present that information to an employer to make them be, yes, you are a clinical pharmacist. And now I also want to address the managers because, yes, we have some great supervisors and managers who give pharmacists without the traditional residency or clinical experience a chance to learn this information. And heck, there are even like hybrid residency programs where you can be a full-time working pharmacist 1 month in a staff position in a hospital and then go into a residency for the next month. I think these are great pseudo options. But I think we have to be very careful here moving forward. I've said this in other videos, but I think that the industry demands us to change. Let's be honest. The Walgreens technician who posed as a pharmacist for 11 years or something like that out of California, or was it CVS? I don't remember now. But the point being that technician proved to the world that tech is just as safe as a pharmacist checking prescriptions. And as far as we're aware of, no mistakes happened. Now, that of course shouldn't just sit. I'm not pointing that out to say like, oh yes, let's just have technicians check medicine and never be a problem again. Absolutely not. But what I am saying is that the systems have become so safe now that the traditional roles of the pharmacist, whether it's in the hospital or in the community setting, are going away. And we're becoming more clinical problem solvers for patients, providers. And I think we have to accept that something is going to break in our healthcare system. It is this dismantling, the pain that we're going through as a profession that I believe will change things for the better. I believe that every pharmacist has clinical capabilities. I believe that residency trained pharmacists are more equipped to do clinical work. But just because that is true doesn't mean that the pharmacist without that training can't be clinical. It's not exclusive. Come on. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments. I am tired of this distinction. I think it is creating walls and unnecessary barriers. Because let's be honest with ourselves. A residency program is really just a cheap way to get labor. And yes, it's training. And yes, it's a year long. And yes, not every resident becomes an employee of the organization, although that is quite common, especially when residency programs. We are creating these distinctions that is making it harder for us as a profession to be fluid, to be flexible, to learn, to grow, and to change. And the more I hope we break down these barriers and open up opportunities for pharmacists, the better our profession can be and move forward with innovation. Because without change, we're going to be stuck in the same situation that we're in now, where pharmacists feel like they cannot transition without another degree, without another certification, without more experience. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to kill imposter syndrome causes in our profession. Oh, it's quite the demon I've chose as my enemy. I like to know your opinions on this. Do you think we've created a second-class citizenship by creating this residency distinction? And if you are a resident, if you feel like there's no way a hospital staff or a community pharmacist can do what I do, I hear you on that, but couldn't they just be trained by the company to learn those things as well? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video. And until I see you in the next one, stay curious and take care.